feels good about the economy right now? Who feels bad about the economy right now? All right.
That's a smug MSNBC journalist in disbelief that people believe something contrary to their narrative on the economy. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and we're in an election season, so that means state-run media is in full force and running interference for Democrats and creepy Uncle Joe. The only problem for them is that these stinking pores keep thinking that the economy is bad despite wall-to-wall media coverage scolding them into believing otherwise.
The real story about the US economy. Nobel Prize winner Paul Krugman lays out the dollars and cents for why Americans are wrong to feel so down about it.
But will voters give President Biden credit for it?
The question for Biden is, will voters give him credit?
Why aren't voters giving President Biden credit?
Americans don't seem to be giving him the credit. Why is that, and what does he have to do to turn that around?
Voters don't understand essentially or grasp that he's had these legislative wins.
Most voters don't understand what you're trying to tell them.
Republicans are never going to say the economy is good historically while there's a Democrat in office.
If you ask them about the economy, they start looking at it through these partisan lenses and they tell themselves stories that are completely at odds with their reality.
Nobody wants to give Joe Biden credit for what is really a remarkable situation with the economy.
Why don't people give him credit?
Well, I don't know. That's the American psyche right now. We're in a bad sort of mood.
Do you think there's an element, people just like being unhappy?
Now that's only a fraction of those clips, and you can tell the media is starting to get desperate, so they're changing up their strategy a bit. For example, failed Rachel Maddow clone Chris Hayes decided to do a whole segment graph lighting his audience into thinking things are actually good, while Joy Reid and whoever this lady is took a different approach and said that life is just expensive, and anyone who says otherwise is lying to hide the fact that they won't support Biden because they're secretly racist. And last but not least, intrepid young smooth-brain reporters at MSNBC are taking a more direct approach and asking regular Americans why they choose to believe their lying bank accounts over their experts.
Everything you have to buy every day is way more expensive than previous years.
Let me ask you this. Right now, when you look on paper, right, you've got low unemployment rates, wages are up, inflation is easing, stock market's doing well, but are you feeling any of that? How do you feel about the economy day to day?
I'm not sure I agree with what you just said.
I retired 3 years ago. I never planned on using some of the money that I saved to retire that I had to use because of the economy now. So I don't know if the stock market's up, I must be in the wrong place.
And look, Garrett, some Democrats say to me, this isn't fair to Biden. He should be getting more credit.
Yeah, it's not fair, guys. Stop being unfair to Biden. Didn't you hear the lady with the weird hair talk about graphs and numbers? I mean, sure, you can fudge those, or loudly announce a made-up number, then quietly revise it like they did with the job estimates. But seriously, there's an old expression in data and statistics that says, figures don't lie, but liars figure. And that's what you're seeing here. It's just another battle on the left's war in reality, and even if all those numbers were true, which they're not, when people think of Trump's economy, they don't think of the pandemic, and that's all Biden's numbers are comparing to. The fact of the matter is, Americans aren't going to give the government credit for slightly improving a mess they made in the first place. Wow, you created a bunch of new jobs and gave them to foreigners after wrecking the economy? Neat. And what's that? Crime is down after you crippled the police force and stopped arresting people for certain crimes? Gee, here's a sticker. Liberals are overlooking something here that they've known for a long time. The average person doesn't respond to facts and figures, even if they are true. It took conservatives forever to realize this. You had dorks like Paul Ryan up there talking about inflation rates, and it did nothing. It took someone like Trump to come in and distill that message into something relatable and understandable for the American people. The only problem for them is that's not going to work because they're lying in the first place. But let me know what you think. Are you feeling the effects of this strong economy? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!